Hi guys, it's Sim with Event Office and Inflatable Office, and I wanted to show you a little bit about these sales charts. Previously, in our older user interface, we had 4 different sales charts. Let me see if I can bring those up real quick to show you what those looked like. So here is the old charts. You see we had year-to-date sales by month, difference, sales by month, and then difference for that as well. So the only 2 charts that we brought over are the sales by month and the year-to-date sales difference. And the reason being is because I believe that those are the primary ones that you will need and want. And it seems to be mostly when I explain to people what these are, they tend to agree with me. If we have a large group of people that still think they need these other charts, or we can explore options to bring those in as well. But let me show you what they mean first. So see, we only have the sales by month and the year-to-date sales difference, and it's going to be easier for me to show you on this. I think you can see a little bit more detail, so you can understand the differences. So sales by month is very easy. It's your sales that you've got booked in that month for those different years. So year, month, 86, 70, 67. That's the sales I had booked for that year and month. Down here in June for this year, 914.98. So very simple. Sales difference. So now we're looking at 2021. You see there's no 2021 column in here because this is a difference. So we're subtracting what we have for 2021 minus what we have for 2020. And that comes out to 66.2797. See, we have zeros here, so we're going to get this minus 0, which is the same number. Okay, and then we do an average across these years. So we take these numbers, these 3 numbers, add them up, divide by 3 to get your average. All these charts are meant to kind of show you how you're doing in your sales, and are you going to be ahead or behind the previous year. This we didn't feel was very exciting because you know what your sales are here, and this chart up here we think tells you a little bit more information about how you're doing. So this is basically, this difference here is basically, we take this 2021 and we subtract it from these other years. We just take this column, subtract it from the other years, and you get this chart here. This chart's just showing your total sales. Has nothing to do if we had stuff booked later in the year here and these years. This is demo data, so we don't have anything showing up. But if you had stuff that you did in these months, of course, you would see the numbers there, and you wouldn't have anything here because you haven't got to those months yet, potentially. So we just didn't feel like it was super valuable. So we're just showing you this one. Now, when it comes to year-to-date sales by months, this is the exciting one, okay, and the one that people probably don't understand very well. But and in my opinion, it's the most exciting, one of the most exciting charts. This is one that when I ran my business, we checked it all the time to see how we were doing. So year-to-date sales by month, not super exciting. What we're doing here is we're looking at the current date. So let's say today is February 19th, 2021. So we're saying on the 19th of February, what do we have booked? Well, in here, it's going to be everything we have booked, right? Everything we have booked, because we're not we haven't hit the future yet, right? So everything booked is going to show up in here. But when you go to these other years, it's only going to be February 19th of 2020, right? So now we see that we had $599.51 booked in March, but we don't have it up here, which means that we must have booked it after February 19th, right? So what this is able to do is just shows you kind of like how you were doing at the same time the previous year. But we're just showing total numbers, and we figure you would rather see difference, right? So that's why this chart shows up. So we take the same thing that we did down here for difference. So we say 2021, we subtract all these other ones, and then we show it over here as a difference. So in this case, we have this 4,914.04 minus 0 for 2020, and sure enough, over here, 4,914.04, right? So if we were to take this one up here and subtract it from here, we get, that $66,627.97. So this one is way more valuable than this one, we think, in this case, because you're seeing the actual difference, and we're showing you if it's negative, it's red; if it's positive, it's green, to kind of show you like where you are. And this, generally, people are comparing to their previous year, So you would look at this column and say, like, total, I'm $11,448.71 ahead of my previous year. And then we show how much you were ahead of the year before that and the year before that. And then again, we have this average column. Generally, people are growing their companies, and we have noticed that the average isn't as big of a deal because you're always growing, and you want to compare to the previous year. You may have grown by 20% each of these years, and so an average won't. It'll show that you're growing more on average, but it's not as. It's going to be a bigger number here, but really, what you're looking at is crushing your previous year's numbers because all of these are probably growth years. So now with coronavirus, everything's a little different, but so maybe the average will be a little more useful for you. Or looking at the year before coronavirus might be more useful for you. So that's how these charts work. And so what this tells your salespeople and you as an owner is that I'm behind in February. And February's not over, so I need to start working because right now I'm behind. I'm behind by $2,818.14. I need to get some things booked, and then you can go and look at your February sales for last year and see what it was that you might have booked last year that you haven't booked this year, and then really pursue that. Probably if we're in February 19th and you're behind like this, that's not good because you're going to have a hard time catching up. So you'll want to look further in the future to see those red ones and try to make sure that you're not getting any red in here and those future ones. So that's the way that works. We also give you this other stat that's pretty useful. I'll show you that really quick. But let me go back over here. So that's the way those things work. I think that once you understand it, these showing your total sales. Total sales is great. You don't really need to see the difference on those. And then year-to-date sales difference is also super useful because it can show like how you're doing sales-wise, year-to-date. So it's not total sales. So very different things, but both very useful. Now I want to show you, and like if you want to see the whole month, you just stretch this, or the whole year, you can just stretch this down so it gets rid of the scroll bar or whatever. So there you go. And that way you don't have to scroll. And that'll save it like that for you. So the other stat that I want to show you that's really useful here is, let me see, of course it's not here in the demo account, so I might have to add it. Yep, let me go ahead and just add it on real quick. It's a preset chart. I'm just going to call it stats. And let me find it. This one right here, company statistics for this year. Go ahead and create it. Okay. So, and yeah. So what this is going to show you right here is an additional couple of values that I think are pretty important when you're doing this. And these are funky because of the demo account data is not very good. But we have this average book days. This is the average number of days it will take from someone to get a quote and then book. So how long they think through the process before they book. So this is like the amount of time that you have to seal the deal, right? So if you're looking at that and you're getting like 14, that means it's 2 weeks, or you're getting 7, that means it's 7 days. That means if you have got somebody who's showed interest, who hasn't booked in 7 days, you really need to get on that. 7 days is your average. That means half of the people are booking before 7 days, the other half of the people are booking after 7 days. But as you get much past 7 days, you're going to really have a hard time getting that event booked because it's just not going to happen. Statistically, we're showing that it's not happening for you. Now, in this case, it's 1 day, which would be fantastic, right? If you book that quickly for everything. But, this is not very good data. So average look days, this is how long ahead of their event start they start looking. So this is not a terrible metric here. If you look at this, it says 39 days. So like basically a month and a week ahead of the event, people are saying, I need to get my stuff booked for my event. That gives you an idea of how far into the future your customers are looking. And it's going to be different. These values are going to be different for every account and an Inflatable Office, because some people are doing really big events and those places are probably booking way in advance, and they might take a lot longer time to book because they might have more stuff to check with you. Now, if you're doing a lot of backyard parties, you're going to see a lot lower look day amounts and a lot quicker and a lot lower book amounts, because those people are probably not thinking as far ahead, and they're also going to the website and just booking it, and they're not spending a lot of time checking with committees or anything else to figure out, if they should do that. So those values are cool because what they do is they tell you when you're looking at your year-to-date sales difference, they tell you like, am I going to be able to catch up on some of these things? So if I know that my customers are looking a month and a half ahead of time, and I see I've got red in February, and it's February 9th, I'm probably going to really struggle to book anything to cover that because my people are booking right now. If a month and a week, they're booking basically end of March, beginning of April right now is what I'm really booking for, based on my look days. So that look day thing will tell you where you basically are mostly booking your stuff right now in this chart. And so, once you've passed that, once you're under that, like in this case, you're going to have a hard time catching up. So that's an important metric to keep track of and to know, so that you can make sure that you're getting all the jobs booked that you need. I mean, we all know that you want to book as much as possible, right? And so, um, you know, so in some ways, these things aren't as valuable if you're working really hard and you're doing a good job of booking and you're doing your best, then you're doing your best. But it does give you an idea of, am I going to be able to catch up? Am I going to be ahead of last year or not? So uh, there you go. I hope that's helpful. And if there's some of you that still, think that, having some of these other charts are valuable to you, let me know. And, we'll kind of keep track of that. And if a lot of people are looking for them, then we might be able to add those back in. So thanks, guys.